All right, this is your brother Issachar coming at you with another lesson. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstones I learned this truth from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing this word through the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Aquat that's listening and learning. Today's video is going to be entitled, Build Yourselves Up Like Men, all right? Build yourselves up like men. Now, I got aspired to do this lesson because, I just recently been paying attention to the activity of brothers, been paying attention to a lot of the things they've been saying. And, this year, man, brothers are buckling down on everything, man, especially when it comes to health, when it comes to exercise, and when it comes to them being becoming more mature, becoming more disciplined, taking care of themselves, and grooming themselves to the point where they're starting to feel like real men, all right? Because this world teach you to be a simp, as what they call it. This world teaches you pretty much to bow down to the woman. This world teaches you to always be nice, and certain occasions let people push over you and so forth and so on, man. This society doesn't really build you up as a true man. And like I said, I got inspired just from looking at the different brothers, man. Brothers hitting weights, brothers getting to the point where they know how to speak to women and handle women, and especially after watching the Apostles Camp, I believe it was last week. They started off the camp speaking about women. They started off the camp speaking about the number one fantasy of women, and they said the number one thing was, they said grape. We already know what that means, all right? A lot of women fantasize about being taken, all right? And, and that's in their nature, because I remember it was a video that came out years ago, and brothers was asking this older lady a question. She looked like she was probably in her 60s and everything like that. And then the brothers pretty much asked her, would you feel comfortable if your man just went and just took it? And you already know what I mean by took it, man. And she was like, yeah. She was like, that turns on and everything like that. And so, like I said, I'm over here putting all of these pieces together, and I'm like, man, brothers are in the spirit, and they're building themselves up like men. And this is exactly what we working for right here. And this is a very beautiful picture right here. This is from the channel. Hold on, let me shorten it. It's from the channel Manatazak Banyamyan 144. It says, the power of a God, the Israelites, Yahweh Shai, and 144,000 elect. All right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, definitely go ahead. He always brings out edifying videos, and these visuals that he brings out, like I said, it's definitely a faith booster. You look at these videos, you be like, man, we can't wait for the kingdom. All right, because this is how we know that we going home. And this is how we know we're going to be in our right minds, man. Let me see if I can get this at the beginning. I don't know if they're going to show it. They always do that. But I wanted to get the actual thumbnail of the video. But this is good right here. This is a thumbnail right here, all right? We're going to be in our right minds, man. Our women going to be beautiful, all right? And we're going to be kings, man. We're going to be kings and rulers. But before we receive that, we got to build ourselves up in our right minds. We got to make sure that we out here handling our business as men, all right? Because, like I said, this society will not teach you that, man. It will not teach you that at all. First of all, they tell you when you get married, you got to be the one to get on one knee. You got to be the one to spit game. You got to be the one to knock her off of her feet and persuade her to do this, persuade her to do that. And if she says no, she has the option to say no, and all of these different things. It's crazy. It's crazy. But now brothers are realizing, like, man, the men are the prize. And this is not a video to, down women or anything like that, because there's a lot of sisters that's in the truth. A lot of them understand what they were created for, and a lot of them understand their roles, and they're listening. And that's a very beautiful thing, man. But at the same time, the Most High is putting the spirit upon his men. That's why it says in the book of Revelation, the tabernacle is with men, all right? He's dealing with the prophets. He's dealing with the teachers. Because, like I said, ultimately, they're going to be the ones to get back on top. And they're going to be precious in the future. So let's go ahead and start with 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. And it says, Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach Yahushua Salakia. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High. So this is in order. And this is why you got to build yourself up like a man. You got to really understand this order, all right? The head of the woman is what? The man. So, you get into the household in this society, you live with your woman and everything like that, and you get into an argument. This society would tell you, she's going to tell me to go sleep on the couch. She's going to tell me that she's leaving and she's going to sleep somewhere else or something like that. They're going to argue and she's going to have to say so and she's going to always be right. And we already know that's not the case, man. That's not the case. And the thing is, a lot of dudes would be like, you know what? I'll go ahead and sleep on the couch. Maybe I was wrong, because this society pushes that vibration on you, man. That's why it's a very funny thing, when they be like, oh, she finally admitted that she was wrong. Because everything is set up for females to dominate and win on this side because of feminism. But in the kingdom, this is what it's going to be, man. The head of the woman is going to be the man, and the head of us all is going to be Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. So at the end of the day, we got to understand this order. And once you understand this order, this puts your mind in a different perspective on how you should look at things. And that includes your wife. All right. Verse 4 says, every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of the Most High, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So they were created for us, all right? They were created for us. So when you look at it in that perspective as well, you get to the point where you just be like, look, if they were created for us, then that means they supposed to be able to operate and maneuver in our favor and do what we supposed to and do what we tell them in any situation, all right? Because we supposed to be the leader. We supposed to be the one that orchestrates everything, organize everything, and then they follow suit. And that's why the scriptures say in Genesis 3:16 that a man shall rule over them, all right? So like I said, this is one of the things that you got to think about when you're trying to build yourself up and actually coming back into your spiritual manhood, all right? Because we're going to be in this type of mentality. In the kingdom, this is the type of mentality we're going to have. We're going to be like, nope. We're going to make sure everything is ran correct and in order. And everything that we say is going to go. And everybody's going to follow suit, man, all right? Let's get 1 Timothy. We're going to get 1 Timothy chapter 4, go to verse 6. And you see the caption, it says, a good minister's discipline. It says, if thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahushua Hamashiach, nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine, whereunto thou hast attained. But refuse profane and old wise fables, and exercise thyself rather unto godliness. For bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that now is and of that which is to come. So it says, for bodily exercise profited little. It profited little because ultimately, the ultimate battle in this life is to be spiritual and remain with the faith and belief in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. But the scriptures tell us to take care of our temple, which is our bodies. So it says, for bodily exercise profited little, but it does profit. And this is one of the things that definitely brings you back into your manhood. When you think about, you as a young man growing up and everything like that, you be thinking about you want to be strong. You want to have muscles. You want to be able to lift heavy. You want to be able to do powerful things. Especially, watching TV. You want to learn how to fight. All of these different things. Things that young boys want to do. They want to be the best. They want to be masculine. So one of the things that gets you there is exercise. And like I said, I've been seeing a lot of brothers, they getting on it, man, including myself. Exercise is definitely a thing that everybody should be practicing, men and women, all right? But you should definitely be practicing, hitting the weights, doing cardio, doing calisthenics, anything that that you're good at or you're comfortable with. You should definitely be practicing that every day, man. Because like I said, the temple is your body. And brothers always go in the videos, the health videos, what you should be eating, what you should not be eating, or not having too much of, because there's nothing wrong, like with having like a cheeseburger or some mac and cheese or whatever, but we know not to continue to eat those things all the time. We'd be like, hey man, it's cheat day, like, I got a taste for it, let's go ahead and have a little bit. But the majority of the time, man, we eating fruits, we eating vegetables, we eating right, we just doing what we supposed to do, and we building our bodies up. And there was a video that was uploaded too by, I believe it was from GMS Get This Work too. It came out a while ago, but they was comparing a man to a lion. The video opened up with Judah, this Judah man, big afro and everything like that, and he just super swole. And he had two women standing behind him on the side of him, and then they kept going back and forth comparing him to a lion, because we already know a lion has that mane. And when you look at a lion and then you look at Judah, that's exactly what we represent, and that's the animal for Judah. All right. So when we think about things like that, we like, man, a lion is powerful. A lion is what? The king of the jungle. A lion knows his position, and a lion knows that nobody can mess with him. And that's the type of mentality we need to have, man. All right. Rulership, kings. We're prophets of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We want to continue to be that. So like I said, it's small things like exercise and having faith, knowing what to say, knowing how to talk, knowing how to behave. Those things build you up as a man to the point where now you're confident in yourself. And then this makes you want to go into building yourself with better things. Branching out of what you're comfortable with and trying other things, man. And it's great. It's great. Let's get this real quick. Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 18. And we're going to start at verse 1, because at the end of the day, a lot of, dudes out here, they'll do whatever it is they need to do in order to get a female, because, they don't want to get rejected, and they don't want the female to leave them or whatever. And this is why when you read 1 Ezra, the 4th chapter, it tells you about that. It tells you how dudes will sin, they'll kill, they'll steal, they'll do whatever it is for a woman, just so he can have some type of quote unquote promise when he get back home. But in this society, you can do all those things for a woman and she'll still reject you. But in this chapter right here, it's going to show you that as long as you be a man, the women are going to come towards you. All right. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 1. It says, and it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Now, a lot of people would use this scripture, especially Christians or whatever, certain Christians or whoever, they'll use this scripture to say that David was a homosexual. Like, nah, that's not what this is talking about, man. Certain people, certain brothers, just have a tight bond, like that saying in the word, we're like, hey, this is my right hand man, stuff like that, man, just cool. That's all it is. That's all it is. Ain't no going outside of the box or thinking about something different. We already know that David was a man of the Lord. David was not no FAG, man. All right. Verse 2, it says, and Saul took him that day and will let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David and his garments, even to his sword and to his bow and to his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people and also in the sight of Saul's servants. And it came to pass as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, that the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets and with joy and with instruments of music. And when the women answered one another as they played and said, Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s. And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed to David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day and forward. All right. So the women came out and they were singing because of the great work that David did. All right. They was like, man, he slayed his 10,000. They went and sung songs, got instruments. You know, they was like, man, they like that. Because the thing is, you know, they're attracted to that, like I said, that masculine side. They're attracted to certain things like that. I remember this one female back in the day. She would say, she said she would like to see dudes fight and all of that, see them get flipped over and everything. She loves seeing those type of things. All right, and that's the same thing that's happening right here in this chapter. You know, they were attracted to David because of his masculinity, because he was a real man of the Lord. He didn't have to do anything. He just went, did what he did, and they came toward him. And David had multiple wives, all right? He had multiple wives. And that's one of the things that Apostle Tahar always said. He was like, look, man, you're like, have them fall in love with you. Don't be trying to fall in love with them, all right? Ultimately, to be realistic, you know, ain't nothing wrong, you know, with having feelings toward a woman or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you're supposed to be the one that's supposed to be one step ahead of the game. All right. He said, have them fall in love with you. All right. Because if you do the opposite, then you're going to get to the point where you simping and you're going to start listening to them. They're going to be giving you orders. And the next thing you know, you're not going to feel like a real man anymore, man. You're just going to be, like I said, listening to her, and she going to be giving out the orders, and it's going to be something else. It's going to be something else. You're not trying to build yourself up like that, man. Like I said, we coming back into who we are. We are kings and rulers of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right. Let's get Isaiah chapter 13, because it's a reason why scriptures are written like this. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 9. And it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wares of Ophir. All right. So ultimately, when you read this scripture, a man's going to be more precious than fine gold, just for the simple fact that there's not going to be a lot of men left in the last days. All right. Because a lot of them are going to perish. That's why the scriptures tell you that a woman should be without a husband. A lot of men are going to die in battle. And just like the brother Kazak from Mississippi brought out, you know, a lot of men are going to die because of, you know, being drafted, being sent to them FEMA camps, being shot down in the streets by martial law. The riots are going to happen. People are going to be starving to death, all kind of things, man. So ultimately, a man is going to be more precious than fine gold, because it's not going to be that many left. But at the same time, a man going to be more precious than fine gold, because he's going to have that one thing that women are going to be looking for, which is protection. All right. Protection. Because they don't, you know, a lot of the women in those days to come, they're not going to want to be alone, man. They're going to want to be with a man in that day. And right now, through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, we're building ourselves up for that day. And Lord willing, we going to make it. Lord willing, we actually do live out Isaiah 4:1. Lord willing, we actually do, you know, endure unto the end. Now, we don't look at Isaiah 4:1 as a scripture where we just like, oh man, we about to have multiple women. Like, no, we don't look at that scripture like that anymore, man. Of course, you know, that's one of the scriptures you use to show you that this is the Most High bringing back order and the way it should be in the earth. All right. Because in the kingdom, that's how it's going to be. A man will have more, a man will have more than one wife. All right. And it's going to happen on this side first. But like I said, when you read that scripture is something very serious. All right. But at the end of the day, a man will be more precious than fine gold, especially the elect men, because they've been building themselves up for that moment, man, for that moment. All right. So when you get this, hold on, let's get this Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Then we go to verse 22. This is one of the ways that we building ourselves up as well. It says, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding, spirit holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving a thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure. This is one of the things that definitely you need to have as a man. You need to be sure, confident, disciplined. Then it says, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. Okay. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and the pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. All right. No defiled thing can fall into her. If you have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you're going to build yourself up naturally. Because you're going to read the scriptures, you're going to understand what the Most High requires, and you're going to change your life. And then the next thing you know, this is going to build you up as a person. All right. You're going to be ready to do good. You're going to be steadfast. You're going to be sure. All of these things are going to be inside of you. And this is how you're going to know how to operate, how to talk to people, what to do, what you will allow, what you won't allow to come into your life, so forth and so on, man. This builds your characteristics up. Having this wisdom. Like I said, this wisdom of the Most High is more powerful than anything. The wisdom that you get in this world is nothing but defiled things. And these things can bring you down to death. And they can bring you down as a person to the point where you're always depressed, second guessing yourself, not working, not trying to better yourself, let people run you over, letting her talk to you any type of way. All right. Get into arguments all the time. And that's one of the things that men need to stop doing, is arguing. Naturally, when a man argues, that lowers your testosterone, literally, because that's not in your nature to be doing that, man. You're not an emotional person. The women are emotional. All right. So when you get into arguments, or if you see that an argument is about to happen, you're supposed to catch yourself. You're supposed to catch yourself and don't even allow it to happen, man. I already know certain females can be crazy. And they can egg on the situation because they want to do that when they get in the heat of the moment. I've seen it happen. They be like, no, I want to argue. And they're going to keep pushing. But, hey, do whatever it is necessary to get out of that situation. Whether you got to, to sit there, be quiet, or let it, clear out on its own, or you leave, or whatever the case may be. But arguing is not a thing that should be part of a man's nature, man. Men don't argue. Men do not argue. And you should definitely practice not doing that, man. All right. You're supposed to keep a good testosterone level. That's one of the things that builds up your muscle. That's one of the things that gets you to the point where you feel more competitive. You feel like you want to do better for yourself. All right. You keep arguing and doing all of these different things. It's going to bring you down in the spirit. And like I said, this wisdom that we have, it brings us up. It brings us up and it keeps us afloat, man. All right. So let's get 2nd Ezra. Hold on, let me go back up. We're going to get 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. Then we're going to go to verse 18. And it says, and now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man spake against me. For then everyone obeyed, but now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, and by a law which is unsearchable rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the vices that were come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a great of the cluster, and a plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. With great labor, which the Most High blessed us with, first of all, we're doing this work, And then outside of doing this work, like I said, going to the gym, eating right, having certain activities that you may like to have, making music or drawing or painting or learning a fighting style, whatever it is that you like to do in your spare time. This great labor builds you up so you can be perfect. And that's what we're doing right now in the spirit. We're building ourselves up, and we're being a part of this great labor so we can be perfect. Because ultimately, us doing this work and us realizing that we are men, we're going to make it, Lord willing, in the chariot. And what's the thing that's going to happen when our bodies change? We're going to be perfect. We're going to be perfect, man. We're going to get to the point where the law's going to be written in our inward parts, and we're going to be gods, man. So with great labor, you could be made perfect. So you got to work. You got to work no matter what it is. You got a goal in mind, work toward that goal. You're trying to get a better position at a job or something, or you need to be hustling and doing certain things, work for it, man. That labor will pay off. Hey, like they say in the world, hard work pays off. That's not a lie. That's not a lie, man. All right. Nothing is given to you for free, so you gotta work for what you want. All right. So let's get one last scripture, then we'll close it out. Let's go back here. Then we're gonna get Isaiah again. Then we're gonna give chapter 46, start at verse 8. And it says, remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, all ye transgressors. That's plain, man. That's plain. Remember this and show yourselves men. Remember what? When you read up in this chapter, you'll read that the Israelites back then, they were building their own gods, and they were putting their gods on their shoulders and carrying their own gods, and then they'll put the gods on the ground and then pray to them, and they would worship things that they made with their own hands, idols, calves of gold, so forth and so on. All right, they were worshiping things that cannot save them, things that's not living. They'll make their own gods, and the Most High was like, look, remember this and show yourselves men, bring it again to mind, or you transgressors, because that was going off. All right. So when you read this, it says, remember this and show yourselves men. You got to show yourselves men first by acknowledging Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right. That's the beginning of everything. As soon as you acknowledge the Lord, everything else comes along with it. All right. Then it says, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. See, that's why he said there's none like me, because there's only one power, and that is Yahweh. And then after that is Yahushua. It says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. All right. So this is what you're supposed to be doing, man. All right. Supposed to be building yourselves up like men. Show yourselves men. The Most High said in the book of Job, he said, gird up your loins like a man. Like a man. All right. You got to get to the point where you know how to speak to women. You know how to handle women. You know how to take care of yourself. You know what you're supposed to be doing to take care of your household. So forth and so on, man. All right. You got to get to the point where you got to put your foot down, man. Got to put your foot down and show these people who you are. All right. And like I said, it all starts with the Lord. So like I said, I just want to bring that out because, like I said, I saw a lot of brothers. It's been seeing a lot of brothers, like I said, talking about the gym, hitting the gym. The women's situation and conversation came back up. And hey, these conversations got to be had from time to time so you can realize what you're a part of, man. Because like I said, in the kingdom, you're going to be thinking completely different. And this is what we aiming for, man. Hey, when we walk up in a room, your wives are going to acknowledge you, man. They're going to look at you and they're going to know. Like it says in the, damn, what book is that? I forget, but I know it's in the New Testament. But, it's like Sarah did, man. They could be calling you Lord. They're going to know who you are, and they're going to respect you, and they're not going to be talking back. They're not going to be doing anything silly. Nah, they're going to remember that, hey, this is my man right here. All right? So, hey, build yourselves up like men. Keep practicing. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. And Lord willing, man, you get something out of it, and you become better as a person. All right? So I hope this is edifying. So with that, I'm going to say, call Halayim Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. Bahasham Rakapadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstones I learned this truth from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing this word through the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Akwat that's listening and learning. And Yahweh Ratazah, I'll be back with another lesson. Keep pushing, Yasharala. Keep pushing. We almost out of here. Shalom.